Nathan, this observation looks the same every single day. The weather has nothing to do with it.
No, you'll just be sent away with your tail between your legs saying, what about the weather? For your straw man we don't claim. Have you factored that in? Well, on you go, lad. Go and get the weather data and pop it into the maths as well, and we'll add to the list as we go along. And then, while you're doing that, we'll point out that if Earth was a sphere, radius 3959, then every distance to horizon, that's Earth curve, marked with an X labelled horizon, you're begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And that image with Blackpool Tower is in excess of the geometric limitations of an Earth sphere, radius 3959, therefore the Earth's not a sphere.
Nathan Oakley is my favorite right now. I love Nathan Oakley.
Yeah, me too.
He demolishes
Absolutely.
people.
There's no point in responding to you, man. Every time I try to talk, you talk over me. Simple answers.
So is weather not real, Kosho?
What does weather have to do with perspective, Nathan?
Nothing to do with perspective and everything to do with conditions of visibility, for example. So we're visualizing something and then mathsing it in a straw man that only uses perspective. But I'm saying if I was to make this claim, and I'm definitely not, I understand implicitly that weather affects the view of things. Now, I understand that your understanding was also the same because I've got a list made by a guy called Everett Anderson that was referenced heavily by a guy called Tim Osman.
The curvature of the Earth, or that it's not flat, basically. And what we have found is that we're up to 86 different excuses now. So definitely go and check out Everett Anderson. He's keeping a very good list of this happening here. And at the very beginning, there was the perspective, the angle of attack, optical slant, Airy's diffraction, zone of invisibility, circle of confusion. There's Riley criterion. There's all kinds of stuff. But like I said, we're up to 86. And atmospheric attenuation actually was from Jay Tolan. That was an addition that I made from Jay Tolan Media, which actually has some of the best.
And it detailed all of the things that we would list as flat earthers that affect how things disappear into the distance, angular size relationships. One of them's weather. It's on that list. Now, your list had one assertion, Earth curve. But we had a whole bunch of things. So this little straw man that's just using perspective doesn't seem to include things like weather. And I'm saying weather's part of reality, Kosho. Are you dumb? Why would you ask me? Why would ask if you've accounted for weather? Obviously there's weather, Kosho. And you're saying the maths is dead simple? What, when you're doing it only for perspective straw men? What about weather? Have you included them? You haven't included the weather conditions on the day for your straw man that you're going to burn. You better get them, mate. Because otherwise, well, you haven't accounted for a very... Do you not know there's things like fog, Kosho? I mean, you can literally see nothing some days because of weather. I mean, what kind of a lad are you? You don't think weather's important, mate? You're just using perspective. No flat earther in their right mind would do that. Are you stupid shithead straw man burning assholes so thick that you would think that we wouldn't account for things like weather? You think we'd only account for angular size reduction? My God, you think so lowly of us. Well, obviously, if you think the maths is so simple, that's because life isn't so simple. Like you retards, who are definitely simple. You're simple, Kosho. If you think that only angular size accounts for these things. No flat earthers claiming that. I made that clear to you. Now I'm saying if you're going to burn this as a straw man that we don't claim, you better get it right and chuck in the weather conditions. So, with your maths, your weather better be in there, Kosho. Or I'm just going to laugh at how stupid you are for not realising that on some days you can't see your hand in front of your face. Yeah? So the weather's very important, Kosho, not just angular size. That's one thing on a very long list that I'll be adding as we go by, with time. So for now, Kosho, you, not me, will be toddling along for your straw man and getting the weather into your maths. We understanding each other? You will be getting the maths for weather and putting them in there. Not asking me why I'd ask.
Not understanding this at all.
Yeah, you can mutter away your way through the conclusion. Not ask me why I'd ask about weather, given that on foggy days you can't see a damn thing. So weather's definitely a factor. I know it's not a factor in your little straw man that you want to burn, but you're going to be adding it, okay?
You just asked me if I used the weather to calculate the angular size.
I'm not talking about angular size. I'm talking about your little straw man that you're going to try and burn when you only use angular size. I'm going to say that maths is also going to need some weather in it, along with a list as long as your arm that I will add as you do these things. You do them for the straw man you're burning. Because I'm not claiming any of this shit. You're going to be burning that straw man at the end after I get you to run after the things that we definitely do claim. And we know you know we claim them. You've got a list of them. So it's not unreasonable if you're going to burn it as a straw man that you say flat earthers claim to have all the things we actually claim. Now, what's going to really burn is the ones that Ranty put on the list. Yeah? That list's got quite a few things from him. Amazing that you can have a turnaround on this as it's that one man you're focused on, because it's not going to be that generalisation that you were trying to burn. Yeah? So you can toddle along and figure out how you're going to get weather into your maths. Not just perspective, and I'm not asking if perspective's part of weather. No. I'm saying if you're going to be doing maths for perspective and angular size relationships for a flat earth straw man you're burning, you're going to need to figure in the weather as well, because that's real, mate. Not that we just claim those two things, there'll be more to add. But just so we're clear, Kosho, I've made it explicitly clear, your straw man that you're burning needs weather adding into your maths as well as perspective. There's others as well. Do you understand me? Any White Knights want to break this silence?
That was beautiful.
I love those little silences. So we'll speak to you soon then, won't we, Kosho? With your maths for perspective, that little straw man you want to burn on its own, but also weather that's real. And then we'll go from there, Kosho, meaning we'll add more things from Everett Anson's very handy list of things that you all understand and appreciate we've claimed in the past that are also going to be added on after you get that. You, not me. Are we clear, Kosho? You haven't responded. Gone very quiet.
Yeah, there's no point in trying to respond to anything whenever you...
Oh, then shut up. Any dickhead that thinks this is a claim that they're going to burn on behalf of a flat earth that isn't claiming it, you're going to get the exact same thing Kosho's got, which is sent on your way with tasks that you need to fulfill. That's what'll happen. And when you go and fulfill them, we'll A, point out that, well, that doesn't disprove a flat earth. What you're trying to do, disprove perspective? Well, no, we're trying to disprove images that anybody you can add one and one together is going to be a flat earther in this example and going to have this example burnt as a straw man on their behalf. No, you'll just be sent away with your tail between your legs saying, what about the weather? For your straw man we don't claim. Have you factored that in? Well, on you go, lad. Go and get the weather data and pop it into the maths as well, and we'll add to the list as we go along. And then, while you're doing that, we'll point out that if Earth was a sphere, radius 3959, then every distance to horizon, that's Earth curve, marked with an X labelled horizon, you're begging the question, proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And that image with Blackpool Tower is in excess of the geometric limitations of an Earth sphere, radius 3959, therefore the Earth's not a sphere.
Are you finished? Okay. The perspective has nothing to do with the weather. Perspective changes pretty basically. I think it's twice as far. It'd get twice as small as it was.
Okay.
You should know this. Nathan, this observation looks the same every single day. The weather has nothing to do with it.
Bullshit.
That's total
bullshit.
bollocks.
Can't even see the mountains some days.
Yeah.